Well, my presentation had to do with challenging the profession or professions, because it's more than one: internal communications, corporate communications, maybe PR, on looking a little bit more out of the box, a little bit more courageous, and trying to see if they can reboot themselves, because I think that carrying on doing things as we've done, even if it gets more sophisticated because we have more tools and more data and everything is fine, but there still is a little bit of more of the same. I think it's risky territory, so I've tried to point into some directions where there are some disciplines like behavioral economics, for example, which can tell us a lot about how behaviors work in real life, which is an area that probably a few years ago was marginal to the profession, and today my point was you can't ignore anymore. You really have to understand, have to read, have to get into that, because it's not an anecdote anymore. It's something that has to do with how real life, larger scale communication or change takes place, and therefore it's an extra work for the communication professional to go outside the comfort zone and get more up to speed with some of these new disciplines. I see more of roles or elements of new roles, and one of them is the one that I have discussed a little bit more, being the curators of the informal organization.
Yes,
my point was that the formal organization is already taken care of. HR, all the management, the traditional way of doing things is very formal. We know about teams and committees and structures and everything. But the real stuff, the good stuff, the innovation happens in the informal side of the organization. Nobody owns that space, and I think it's a suggestion that communication should be in a very good position to say, we know about that, we know how these things happen, we know about the fluid communication, about keeping the network of conversations open, for example, not trying to stiff them, giving a little bit of extra luxury in the system to be able to have fluid conversations. So there's a lot that internal communications function, if they wish so, could say, we're taking care of that, because nobody else is. And I think it's a very good opportunity, not the only one, but one of the angles for a potential rethinking of the communication functions. I'm very reluctant to apply a specific set of skills to a specific function, like say, well, R&D has to be innovative and creative, and the other has to take risk. I think it's a bit of a trap to categorize functions with the skills. I think the skill set is almost what the organization needs to have, no matter what, everywhere. Risk-taking, for example, innovation, creativity, thinking out of the box, challenging the default position, do more with less, speed up decision making, communication, cross-collaboration, and across borders, not just in your circles. Nothing that I'm describing, which I could apply very well to communications, would not apply to any other in the organization. The panel in particular, it was a very good discussion on things. I mean, I think we could go for another half an hour or 1 hour easily. The area is very broad, and therefore it's difficult sometimes to focus on specific things. But I think that there is a need to look at what communications as profession is doing, and I think we tackle different angles, different things. And to me, the question is how we put these things in practice now, more than leaving us a very good discussion, which it was. I think people are very active, and they're asking questions coming from different angles of the profession. Not all are doing exactly the same. I think it's a good participation, and there were very good questions in general during the day, during the morning, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very good session.